Don't be afraid to start over. And don't be afraid to televise the grow up and the glow up. Because, baby, how people met you is not where you're going to stay. You ready? Let's dig into this Feed Your Future Friday. Hey girlies, what's up? So it is Shaniqua, the girl use your voice, president, CEO, but beyond those things, y'all, I am an author, a speaker, and a screenwriter. And I am also here to help motivate you to make it through the weekend and make it all the way over to the other side of the week. First of all, congratulate yourself for your Saturday through Friday because you have made it. Everything you thought you could not do, you've done. Everything you thought you could not be, you've been. You may not have realized it in the natural yet, but baby, understand, trust, and believe that if it is inside of you, it can come outside of you. Your reality is waiting on you. Now, let's dig into this Feed Your Future Friday. Back it all the way back up. Let me start over and say, don't be afraid to start over. Y'all, I'm going to insert a picture like right here because what I am doing at the ripe old age of 44 is starting over. I'm smiling, but please understand there have been tears. There has been fear. There's been terror. There has been so much that I never thought I'd have to experience or feel and did, even to the point of wondering if I wanted to be here anymore. Some of y'all know exactly what that feels like. And if you do, I'm talking to you. So, girly, let's get to it. Okay. First off, I want you to understand this. You are not starting this journey all the way over. Please understand that what you are bringing forward is your experience, is your knowledge, is your information, not just your fear. And I wanted to point out fear because I do want to let you know I understand. One of the things that has taken me months to start pushing past is the fear of the amount of work that is ahead of me. I've spent 9 years in entrepreneurship from 2014 when I had those twins at the age of 34. I had $99 to my name. I was a teacher, so we did not get paid during the summer, not in Miami-Dade County, nor did we make enough to really spread that money through the year. So summers were hungry days, ramen days. Let me fill out this coupon survey so I can get a code and feed my two older kids days. That's what summer was like for me for a long, long time. So there I was with my $99. There was a business opportunity. It was an MLM, but I joined, I took it, and within the month, I made $1,000. That was my first real hit of online entrepreneurship. Hold on, pause. Because some of us, this ain't our first rodeo. We've been entrepreneurs. We were those candy hustlers in school, right? Some of y'all sold homework, like you did it for them and you sold it. I wrote poems for money because there were a lot of guys trying to butter up their sweeties. I've been a hustler. And I say that in the nice kind of the word. Like I've always been about my money. I was an 80s baby. So I grew up in a time when men were leaving their women destitute. I'm talking about if they had a joint bank account, those men were cleaning it out and then telling the women they didn't want to be with them anymore. And so what that did was create single parent households and poverty amongst a lot of families. It didn't matter what the race was. As a child, I said, I'm going to have my own money. And did I? I made my own money. But the thing that I did not know was how to take care of my money. I didn't grow up in a family that had those words of financial literacy, financial responsibility. I didn't know what those things were. So I had no idea how to actually manage my money. So I made it and I lost it. I made it and I lost it. I had those feast and famine cycles before I ever entered entrepreneurship. Also, I was a person who did not say no very well. So I enabled someone to help get me in a place of bad credit history, just credit unworthiness. We're going to use those words because I don't like to call things unworthy. I've been there with the help of someone else, actually a few other people, because I was a yes person. I didn't know how to say no, even when my brain was screaming it. I say all this to say that online entrepreneurship is not the first rodeo for a lot of us. A lot of us have already been those hustlers. We've already went out and made money, but some of us have been doing it for too long. And the thing about hustle is it's supposed to be quick. It's supposed to be over. The thing about grind is it wears you down. It's literally in the word. You grind things to powder. And what happened is over the next 9 years of entrepreneurship, as I moved from MLM and MLM and MLM and MLM into the online space, what happened is I was grounded, literally. I became a shadow, the dust of the person who God called me to be, who I knew myself to be. Look, at 9, I knew who I was. I knew I was going to be somebody that people were going to want to be attached to. So I would tell people when I learned how to sign my signature, keep my autograph, it's going to be famous one day. So I was a confident person for a while until these tragedies and other things started happening to me. It started strangling my voice, taking my voice away. So that said, I carry the weight of these traumas into entrepreneurship. That made the work, everything, like an uphill battle. It was like being Sisyphus trying to push a rock up a hill, and any moment I rested, that rock came back down. And for a lot of y'all in entrepreneurship, in content creation, an influencer, that's what you're doing. You're pushing a rock up a hill, or you did, and then it came falling back down. You pushed this rock up a hill, you got somewhere, you had some success, but it all relied on your hard work, your effort, not your smart work, your hard work, your sweat, your energy, your time, your tears. It relied on that. And the minute you rested, the pandemic did it to some people. Now, what I will say is, in times of trouble, millionaires are made. So some people went from struggle to fast money and then back down. So this is what happens is if we don't know financial literacy, if we don't have a foundation of financial responsibility, this is what happens. We go back down. It can be heartbreaking. It can be embarrassing. It can be shameful. It can be humbling in the true sense of the word. So, what I want you to know is this: not only am I with you, I am also going to be with you on the way up. So, I want you to know I'm speaking from a place of experience, yes, but I'm also speaking from a place of knowledge, right? So, yes, I've experienced it, but I've also picked up some lessons. I've also picked up some things along the way. And I know you did too. This is why I'm saying you're not starting all the way over because you're not starting from zero. You're not starting from a lack of information. You're not starting from really ignorance anymore. You have the battle scars. Some of your wounds may still be open, but you are starting from a place where you have like maybe 5 more yards to go until you get to first down and not actually at the scrimmage yard again, or not even negative the scrimmage yard again. I know it feels like you may be starting from a negative space, but I want you to know you're not starting from negative. Maybe in your bank account, hello, but not in your knowledge acquisition. And that is richer than money. Money is renewable. Knowledge is something that it really takes to not only get the information, but to now apply it. And that's what we're here to do, right? So you're not starting all the way over. Matter of fact, you have 3 things that I want you to pay attention to. 3 things that you absolutely know, right? Are you writing them down? Because I'm actually going to give you homework. I told you, I used to be a teacher, 15 years in the trenches of the classroom, y'all. So I am giving you homework. So I want you to write these 3 things down. Write these 3 things down. Write these 3 things down. If you know the rules of teaching, if it's repeated, you write it down. So I already repeated it. So let's go. Number 1, the key thing that you know is what not to do. Y'all, that is a big thing. That's a big knowledge gap that some people just don't have. That said, I still want you to operate in your forward season as if you did not know what to do. Okay? because there is a freedom in ignorance. You don't know what cannot be done. All you can see is what someone else has managed to do. And that's what you want to do, right? So I want you to operate in the space of, yes, I know what not to do. I know not to waste my time anymore. I know not to go out often. I know not to sit in front of a computer for 12 hours and lose my family. I know not to, I know not to, I know not to. So this is your first piece of homework. What I want you to write down is at least 5 to 10 things, 5 to 10 things that you now know what not to do, right? I'm going to give you some time. I really want you to do this. I don't want you to listen to this video straight through. I really want you to do the work as we're doing it. So right now is a really good time to pause the video and then come back. You got me? Pause. Now that you've written out what not to do, I really want you to look at that list real quick. And I want you to figure out, what parts of this do you need to pretend like you don't know? As I said, there is ignorance and not knowing what isn't possible, because the impossible says in the word, I'm possible, right? You've heard that cliche. So I want you to think about that. I want you to look at this list. The things that I know not to do. I know not to spend 12 hours a day working at my computer, because I could end up ill. I could get blood clots. I could have a heart attack. I could lose my family. I could, whatever those things are that it costs you to do that. Yes, you want to write that down. Then you want to write things down like, I know not to buy every shiny system, right? However, the thing in that is, while you know what not to do, as far as like buying into all the shiny systems, signing up for all the different webinars, blah, 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 you also know that you do need a system. Okay. That's going to lead me into the second thing that you know, right? We'll get back to moving forward with ignorance, but let's move on right now to the second thing that you do know. You know what to do, right? So again, in the case of what I just said, is not to buy every shiny system, sign up for every monthly thing, try to learn every AI that is out there. However, you do know you need a system. And one of the things that I want you to think about when you think about systems is this. Many of us are operating as solopreneurs. By solopreneur, we literally mean the word solopreneur. Like, we don't even have the money to even get somebody who's a foreigner who will take $5 to $10 an hour. We don't have that to spare. Yes, that could be a thing. Or we just don't have the time to learn all these different pieces of software. And literally, that's a thing. I'm not here to gaslight you and say, well, you got to find the time. Well, you got to find the money. I'm not going to do that, because I'm operating under the assumption that you know you better than anybody else. You know what you got going on. You might be a caretaker. You might be grieving. You might be this. You might be that. You know your life. Okay. And you know that now is not the time for excuses, right? You know that. However, you also know that real life be real life thing. And so you do have to give yourself space to be a human being. Okay. So I'm not operating in a gaslighting space of telling you, find it, find it, find it, find it. That's not what I'm here to do. However, if you know that you're making excuses, then bust them. Bust it, bust it, bust it. Okay. Anyway, so what I want you to do for this next piece of homework is to write out 5 to 10 things that you know you need to do. And I'm saying need because you have goals, right? Should have made that the first piece of homework. But you have things that you want to do as you're on this grow up, glow up, as you're on this restart, as you're on this second chance, this third chance, this new chance, as you are still breathing every day with a purpose from God. There are things that you need to do. Those things could be what He's telling you to do. Hello. However, whatever it is, get it done. So right now, I want you to write out those 5 to 10 things that you know to do and hit pause, then come back. Go do it. Welcome back because we're going to get into number 3, right? So we know what not to do. We know what to do. So it's evident that we're not starting all the way over, not all the way. Even if we're creating new socials, say like new threads, new TikToks, new YouTubes, new whatever it is by the time you watch this video, and your number count might be 0, but your relationships that you had before were not 0. The customers that you had before is not 0. The social proofing that you had before is not 0. This is for my girlies who've been there, done that, and need to do it again, but need to make sure that they're doing it not unafraid, but with clarity. All right, so let's move forward. So the 3 key things that you have that you didn't have before is that you know what not to do, you know what to do, and now number 3, you know who you don't want to be. And by who, I also mean where, what, whatever other word you want to insert in there. You've been that, you've done that, you don't want that again, right? So you know what that is, right? So when I went to get back into work, when I went to get back into entrepreneurship, when I went to go back to applying for jobs, I came with knowledge, with experience, with information, with a list of what I was going to accept and what I wasn't going to accept. Now, you want to make sure that those things aren't barriers to your blessings, aren't barriers to your next, but there are some things that you really should be standing on as your standards, right? So that said, I knew when I was coming back into entrepreneurship, I did not want to spend all day behind a computer. That sent me to the hospital with blood clots in my lungs, right? That also cost me a relationship with my friends, with my children, and with my partner because I have to work, I have to work, I have to work. Please understand that yes, you may have a need for making money, but that said, you still have a need for a relationship. No man's an island. We're not here to do this life alone. I don't care what people think or what people say. When you have a chance to repair and resurrect relationships, do so. When it's worth it, do so. When it's valuable to you, do so. Time is irreplaceable. Time is your most precious, precious commodity to the point where I don't even like to use the word commodity because it is irreplaceable. As of now, we don't know how to go back in time. As of now, we don't know how to extend our time. So that said, you need to make sure, that you value every second of every day that you have remaining. Every breath is precious. Every second that ticks is precious. And every moment you can spend with your children, with your partner, with your friends, with yourself is precious and should not be wasted on just building or running a business. We were not made to be business. We were made to be people. Okay. I know we're doing the solopreneur thing, some of us. So I want you to think about systems, for instance, and I don't sell systems, so don't think I'm trying to push those off on you, okay? Now, I do have Kartra. I do love to use Kartra. So I am going to put my affiliate link below if you want to try Kartra for 30 days. I will tell you there is a pretty steep learning curve with Kartra, but so far it's like the system that I love to have. But a shift I had to think about with systems, because y'all, it used to have me in tears, just like I've tried Entrepreneur, I tried Keep, Infusion, whatever they were called. I tried just about all of them. And it would have me in tears because one, I did not know that I was neurodivergent. So, hey, ADHDers. And so I just wasn't grasping the concept of it, even though I was an intelligent person. But then there was a switch in the wording of it. And that's when I became a little bit more comfortable or just a little bit less resistant to getting it figured out. And I saw a system as my teammate, a system as an employee that I could have working 24/7, which would allow me to get from behind my computer all the time. Y'all, I used to try to hurry up and get emails written, and we're about to have a course, but I haven't sent out the emails yet. And so I'm trying to hurry up and get them done, or I'm running a challenge and I have to do the emails every day and blah, 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 blah. So having a system allowed me to go ahead and have that stuff preloaded. We won't get into the whole testing thing because, yeah, or at least to preload a day or two in advance because I'm not a person who can plan far ahead, but I can plan with, okay, we're doing this tomorrow. I could do that and have that planned out, you know, and already loaded in the system. The other thing about having a system, like I said, I thought of it when I switched it to this is my teammate. So I'm a solopreneur. I can't have an email specialist. I can't have blah blah blah. Yet, so this became my teammate. I also hate emails. I still do. I'm not even gonna. There's no mind shift to that. Okay, as far as like the hate, the level of I don't like emails because most emails are fluffy and you don't even need them but people still send them. And I hate when people send emails every single day for over a year. Like I've deleted thousands from people before and like quickly unsubscribed after that when I realized what they were doing. So while I hate emails, that hate was keeping me from sending them. So again, having a system in place allowed me to preload some emails so that I didn't have to see it when I sent it out. It was already scheduled to be sent out. Like that's how much I needed to remove myself from it. Okay. So I'm not going to keep harping on that because, again, I don't sell systems. I don't make them. I don't do them for people. But I just want you to understand that even if you're doing this alone, there are some things that you're going to want to invest in and find the way to get it. If not, it's going to be your time and energy. Y'all know the saying, which is true, is that you're going to pay something. In economics, it's called an opportunity cost. Everything costs something. I hate when people go say it costs nothing to like, share, or subscribe. By the way, this is a good time to do that. I know it costs a thought, which is energy. It costs an action, which is energy, and it costs your time. Okay. So I'm very thankful and appreciative of those. Thank you, by the way, for doing that. I'm very appreciative of that. So I just want you to know that is something that it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. And so one of the things that I make sure that I have every single month, like I have to figure out how to get it done and I get it done, is I have my system in place because I know I hate emails. I know I need to have a landing page or some place for people to go. I know this. And I know that I want things all in the same place, not all around, because again, I'm neurodivergent. I just want you to understand that you're not starting over from scratch, not all the way, but you are starting over from a place of experience, of knowledge, of information, of relationships already in place. That said, one of the things that you probably have carried with you, besides just determination, besides just a hope or a desire, a goal, is you probably carried fear. And I feel like I do need to do a different video on this, but I just want to go ahead and mention this real quick. The saying of do it afraid really is the way to be. While it is often said that we're not to have fear, God didn't give us a spirit of fear. If you are into the Bible, you'll realize they have to say that over and over again because we are human and fear is a thing that we're going to have an emotion, a thought, a feeling. We're going to have it. And so you really do go forward in spite of your fear. You really do it afraid. Now, yeah, we'll probably save this for a different video. That said, again, I want you to feed your future. I want you to feed your future. And so in this third thing, yes, we're not done. You have that homework to do. I want you to write that down. Who do you not want to be? Who don't you want to be? And think about who you were. Think about what did not bring you joy. Think about those things. And so this is a really good place right now to pause and get that work done. When you are done, I'm going to give you a bonus thing because I never like to end on a negative. So hit pause right now and go write out the 5 to 10 things, the people, person, traits that you had before that you don't want to be. I know a person that I don't want to be is the person I've always been fighting against being. I did not want to be the person where money was my focus. Now, that said, I have had a coming to Jesus moment where I realized it's money that funds the mission. So you do have to have money. You know, abundance always walks with me. That's the other thing I knew, but I had to relearn is that abundance walks with me. Abundance really is my birthright. And many of y'all probably feel the same way, right? You probably know the same thing. So if it was, I was repelling it because I was looking at, again, other people, their spirit, the way that they behaved. I do not commoditize my relationships. I'm not creating a relationship just to later sell you. I don't do that. Like right now, this channel, me coming here, is because I was convicted about hiding in the shadows, which is why my tag for this channel of Girl Use Your Voice is come out the shadows, right? Because when God's calling you forward, He's calling you forward into the light. And it is the light that chases away the shadows, the shadows of depression, the shadows of anger, the shadows of fear, the shadows of grief. We got to shine light, light being truth, truth being God, on these things. But we also have to be the light. And if we're the light, we get to help chase away the shadows for other people. So I got convicted because it takes me so long to get up and hit the button. But if I don't, I am my people stay in the shadows. So I want you to understand that you don't have to be like everybody else. I refuse. I absolutely refuse to be like everybody else where money is the mission. No, the mission may need money, but money is never the mission. Money serves the mission. Money helps the mission. Money funds the mission. It's not the mission. And to make that the mission would have been disintegrous for myself. Like it would throw me out of authenticity. If that's you, hey, it's you. I'm talking about me, right? So I knew I didn't want to be that person, but I also know that I don't want to be the person who got here. I love her. I thank her for her choices. I thank her for the things that she has done. I forgive her for operating in a state of fear as opposed to moving through it. So I thank her because we're still here. So I thank her for the lessons. However, I don't want to be her again. And so I'm choosing to be, and this is the fourth part of your homework, and the final part of your homework is who do you want to be? I want to be a person who shows up. I want to be a person who hears, well done, my good and faithful servant. I want to be a person who squeezed the juice out of my talents and gifts until they were dry so that when I went and put this body in the ground, not in the ground because I'm getting cremated, but you get the point. When this journey in this body is over and my soul gets to go and holler at Jesus, I want to hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. I also want to be able to say, if the guy's like, hey, you ready to go back now? No. I have learned all I need to learn. Thank you, Jesus. It was great. Can I go hang out in the bookstore? Like, that's what I want to be able to do. So that's the person I want to be. I want to be the person who my kids always know they can come to me, right? I might have a sign on the door that says, do not disturb mommy's recording, but they know what time that ends. Before I didn't have boundaries. So I want to be the person who has boundaries. Boundaries around time for herself, boundaries around time for her family and for her partner and for her friends. Like I want to magnify my relationships. I want them big, huge. And I don't care if it's just two people I'm friends with or four people I'm friends with or one. I want that relationship to be as pure and godlike as possible, as humanly possible. Let's put it that way. I want it to be real. And in order to get real, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to do a video for this. So come back. We're going to talk about that. But in order to be real, I had to be real, real with myself, real with my desires, and real with where I want to be. So y'all have this homework because you got to get real. You have to be real. What was your mess up? But what were the lessons? Who were you that you didn't like? And who is it you trying to be? You need to know that. So it's your turn in the comments. I want you to drop down. I'm passing you the mic because it's your turn. Share with me, one, did this video help you? Two, did it make you think about anything? And three, who you gonna be, girl? Remember, girl means God uses real leaders. So in order to be a leader, you got to actually lead. Come out the shadows. See you in the next video.